everybody. Welcome back to Brew Review. I am one of your hosts, Cody, alongside my best friend, Laz.
Hey, how's it going?
Perfect intro. Definitely not the second take.
This is definitely not the second take, which is why I liked it so much.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Today is our 2024 in review. We're going to be going through all the different things that happened to us this year, talk about what happened in our meta, talk about the episodes we did this year, do a little personal stuff, and yeah, it'll be a good time. It's definitely a more chilled and relaxed episode. There's no real big structure to it. If we feel like throwing a curveball at you, we're going to fucking do it.
Yeah, try and stop us.
Try and stop us. I mean, you really could stop the podcast
Don't
and
stop
listen
the
to
podcast,
it, but
please.
yeah.
What do we need, like 15 minutes of listening or 4 minutes of listening?
Something like that. Yeah,
okay.
Just help us out, please.
Listen for 4 minutes, then you could skip.
Yeah.
We need a really strong 4 minutes.
A little bit of housekeeping at the top. Just so you're aware, we are uploading these to YouTube every time they come out on podcast services. They're also coming out on YouTube. It's just another way for people to watch the episodes. So we've gotten a little bit of feedback about people appreciating it. So thank y'all for that. But just in case we don't talk about it enough, you can also watch this on YouTube. Other thing, Discord popping off. We got a good number of people in there going now. It feels like at least one person is joining like every other week. So I'm pretty happy about that.
And unlike the Facebook group, I actually, participate.
Yeah, Laz actually talks in there. So
I get in. Yeah, look at that. I just I forget sometimes, and Cody's like, "Hey, someone asking you a question." And then once I open it, I'm like, "Oh well, I'll just leave it open all day and start shit talking people, and join the conversation." So join the Discord. It's actually a lot of fun. Just got a good group of people there so far. So
yeah,
you could be another one.
A lot of people talking about like Dex ideas and stuff. We've been helping out. This guy Jack sent us an email. Jack, if you're listening, thank you so much for that. And I invited him to the Discord, and we've been helping him. He's a newer guy. He played Magic in the past, but he's getting back into the game, and so he was struggling a bit. So we kind of helped him and talked to him about it. And it's like ultimately, hey, buy a pre-con and go from there. And he said he went to an LGS and got to play a couple games. So I'm happy about that. Glad we got to help someone out in the community.
It was very fun.
So yeah, hop in there and then talk to those peeps. All right, Laz. How was 2024 for you?
2024 was good. I feel so I don't know if I played more Magic this year than I did the previous year, and we'll get into kind of some of the reasons around that. However, I think I played more matches with other people outside of my pod.
Yeah,
I played on a stream or two. I played, on some other people's streams, or not streams, I guess, just played some games with some other people too. And it's kind of been fun. I think I said last year, I'm trying to remember, I believe I said that was one of my goals for this year is to play with some more people outside the pod at least and stuff too, and kind of break out of the safety net there. And I think I kind of did that. And towards the end of the year, I think we definitely started doing more Magic stuff, between the streams, and then we started Discord, so that kind of just involved me with a lot more Magic people too that I'm usually used to interacting with. So I kind of liked it, and I kind of like the trend it's going in. I'm trying to get excited to play again. I got another obsession at the moment, but it's very hard to kind of juggle the two of them. But even tonight, I'm like, man, maybe play some Magic tonight. It's been like a week.
Yeah, we've been both like neck deep in Marvel Rivals, and the game just came out, and it's been a total blast.
Sucking up a lot of free time. My finals content is taking a hit.
Oh no!
Yeah, I know. How about you though? How's your 2024 been with Magic?
Magic-wise, I think it was really good. I mean, like I said, we had that rough part with both our home pod, but also I had a rough patch probably after, I think the Command Fest I went to was in like February, March. I had a really bad interaction with another content creator, and I kind of let that like really fuck with my mental health. And like this year was rough, as like doing content in general was rough, because for the beginning part of the year, I like was letting it affect my mental health a lot. So between that interaction, but then also just between like, and Laz and I talked about this behind the scenes, like I was constantly comparing how we were doing to other people. And it wasn't until probably like 2 or 3 months ago, maybe 2 months ago, that I stopped. Like I deleted social media. I went on vacation in October, and I was like, I'm deleting social media. And I think doing that was what I needed. I think I needed to stop comparing myself as a Magic content creator to other Magic content creators, because at the end of the day, like, we do this podcast to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to sit down and talk with one of my best friends about the game we love. And I was like almost making it a second job when it's not a second job. Like, I already killed myself at my first job. Why am I killing myself at a second job? It's not. I mean, the reward is people listening and getting to meet new people and all that, and that was happening. So why was I killing myself to do it? Why not just enjoy it more? And I think I'm in a lot better place now with Magic. I think we're playing more with the home pod. I'm playing more with other people, which is something I had stopped doing for a bit because of that interaction at the Command Fest. But I'm doing better about it. I guess on more streams and stuff like that. So
yeah, well, you're going pretty hard and heavy there at first too, and I even told him like you're gonna burn out just because. Like, well, I'm doing this charity stream, and then I'm on these people's stream, and then I'm doing like guesting on this person's podcast. I was like, man, here I am thinking, I'm like, I don't even know if I could do a monthly show anymore, like, or a bi-weekly show. I'm like, I think we have to switch to monthly, and you're like doing all this stuff. It's like, neither of us are retiring off the Brew Review podcast.
Yeah, I think that was a big. Yeah, I think burnout was a big part of it. I think and like behind the curtains, like I was like in my head, I was like, wow, the more stuff I'm on, I get the podcast out, like people hear about the podcast, stuff like that. And that's a selfish reason. I should just be wanting to play Magic, which towards the end I was doing. I was just playing Magic to play Magic. Another big thing that happened this year was we rebranded. We went from the Brew It or Screw It podcast to Brew Review. And I think that helped a ton.
I have all these stickers now, what am I gonna
I
do
have
with
all
these
stickers, but hey, you know what? That's OG merch for OG listeners. So
that's right. We're selling out Carnegie Hall in 5 years, and someone's got the original Brew the Screw It sticker. I'm like, yo, there's one of the original listeners
right there. Yeah. It was very funny. Like, after we did the swap, I guested on the Urcast pod again, and they were asking, they're like, "Oh, so like, how's the name swap been?" And I was like, "Really good." It was really interesting to find out that people thought we were just pulling up deck lists on Moxfield and shitting on them. That's what they thought the Screw It part meant. And I was like, "Oh God, no, we would never do that. We do that in our personal time."
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We'd never do that and record it.
That'd be just fucking mean. Like, why would we do that? So yeah, it was interesting to hear that feedback. That's the reason I listened to your podcast, because I thought you guys were just shitting all over decks, and I was like, no, we were. I mean, we were shitting on our own decks, but like, we weren't just pulling random Oxfield lists and being like, look at this piece of trash.
I'm not gonna lie, that would be really fun as like a side segment. Just see who can find the worst Moxfield deck, and we just compare who has the worst Moxfield deck they found.
This deck is 99 lands, and your commander is 9 mana. What are you doing? So yeah, it was it was it was an interesting year overall. I feel like right now it's in a lot better place. I mean, so talking about our meta and everything. So Nick, who listens to this podcast, thank you, Nick, love you. Nick had a kid this year, and Mike became a little unreliable for a little while there to get games in, and so it was rough. There was like a 5 to 6 month span where it was like, I don't think we're playing Magic at all, and if we are, it's like one game, and then like
we'd get like one game in random weeknight and be like, all right, anyone got time for another? Like, nah, head to bed. No, I have to go feed a kid, or my daughter's waking up. It's like, all right, it's just tough. That's how it goes. I went away for like 2 weeks in the middle of the summer. That kind of screwed some stuff up too. So no, at first it was a little rough, but that's why I said I think towards the end of the year we kind of started trending a lot more, heavy into Magic. And I think if Marvel Rivals had not come out, I think we would be playing a little bit more. We'd be playing a lot more Magic than we were the first half of the year. So we'll throw that into the bad timing of a fun game sucking up all our time.
At some point, we sat down and it was like, all right, hey, let's do like a game night once a month where like we dedicate like a couple hours and we just play. And we did that 2 or 3 months, and that was really good. But then just after that, it kind of felt like, we were playing at least like once a week and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think like it's hard because like comparison to last year I think like we played like 2 to 3 games a week sometimes. And there was always a week where we didn't play, but like it just felt like we were playing so much more last year. And so we got to this year, it felt bad a little bit.
I think it'll change though. That's the thing with babies; they grow up. So
Yeah.
and that at the beginning of the year, our buddy Creeps, he his kid was still, I believe, under a 1 or around there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that kind of throws off when two people in the group have infants.
Yeah.
And late nights or not sleeping some nights and stuff like that. You can't be like, oh, let's play Magic till 11:30 when they're on 3 hours of sleep as is.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I think it's already starting to change now. Creeps in us up all the time to play.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Magic are rivals tonight, so that's good. Nick is slowly coming around, so that's good too. So I think we're going to get a lot of Magic in, and plus the Discord group is growing too. So I know, we tried to set up one game. I know that we had some stuff pop up, but I think we'll be trying to set up another game sometime soon, and that's something I want to get in on too, because I'd like to play with some of these people that I'm chatting with all day and see how evil their decks seem after they're asking these horrible questions about interaction. I think you even said too, I think you told someone, you're like, the more you talk about your decks, the less I want to play with you.
It's Go to Combat. Lovely guy. Has a YouTube channel. I'll throw it in the description. But yeah, anytime he talks about it, he's like, oh yeah, I went infinite in this game. I'm like, I don't like infinite combos. I don't know about if I'm going to play against that deck. But good person. He's always chatting in the Discord. So I appreciate
it's good. It's good stuff. I'd like to play with him. So it's been fun. It's been Magic wise, I think we're trending up.
Yeah. We covered a lot of decks on the podcast this year. So, in February, we hit our 1 year of doing the podcast. Woo. And at the time, in January, I flew up and we covered what we did the previous year. But so going forward, this 2024 in review, we'll be covering the decks we did the whole year. So we started off the year with Errant and Gianna. That was
Flashlight.
Flashlight, yeah. Flashlight tag, I think is what you called it. Mm-hmm. Hell of a name. That came from it was in one of your top 5 from last year. You played it, I think, 2 times.
2 or 3 times I played it. And it did fairly well, I think only one of the times. And I remember my reasoning for that deck was, 1, it seemed like fun, and 2, I wanted to kind of force myself to be a more patient player by having to do just kind of like a lot of, okay, upkeep, untap, draw, pass turn, type stuff, and have a lot of instants and blinks and stuff like that at the ready. So the game, it did well. I was doing that, but you know what? I made a deck that does it. Doesn't necessarily mean I like it. So I don't know. Maybe I'll dust it off again one day, but there's just always something else I'd rather play. It was fun to play, fun to build, but maybe it's just not for me. Azorius Blink.
Yeah. I think this year was a really good year for us, like learning our play styles a little bit. Like, like you had it at the beginning of the year, and I had it more towards the end of the year, where I was like, you know what? I don't like control. I just want to turn shit sideways.
Well, you're also like, I think 3 colors is the sweet spot for commanders. I told you, because you're like, I don't know why you'd play anything but mono or maybe duo. I'm like, no, three color is where I really try to find a commander in 3 color.
Yeah, that was one of my goals this year, was to kind of get out of my comfort zone of 1 and 2 colors to 3 colors, and I think I did that in spades this year. We'll definitely talk about that. That same month, we had Kodama versus Multani. That was Jank Tank, short-lived.
I really like. I don't know why Jank Tank's fun. I would like to do
it from time to time.
Jank Tanks. What do you think about your Kodama?
I think I improved upon it by doing that Baranos list for the starter decks. I don't think it was. I think it was not good in that episode. That promo I cut.
Promo is good. Promo is good.
Deck, not so much. What about Multani for you?
Love Multani. Absolutely love that deck.
Good fucking deck.
It was a good deck. It won several times. I played it. I was actually kind of going through some decks earlier this week, and I came across that. I'm like, I think next time I play, I'm going to do that. That was the mono green group hug.
Yeah,
deck.
You were drawing a fuck ton of cards.
And the whole thing was just basically the more cards I have, the more cards in opponents' hands, the stronger my commander was. And so I was just every turn having tons and tons of cards being drawn around the table, giving everyone card draw, and then just have a huge commander. It was a lot of fun. I really like that deck, and I think that's definitely one that I have a little star next to on Mox Field to keep updating as new cards come out every now and then. Just kind of open it up on EDH Rack and see what some new card suggestions are and stuff like that from some more recent sets. That's something I'll be continuously upgrading, I believe.
Yeah, that was a good deck. I mean, it got scary. I mean, turns out having a giant creature with Shroud that can't be targeted is very scary. So
Who knew?
Yeah, who knew?
It's unsuspecting.
It's so unexpected. Next up was Rocco Street Chef. This was titled The Menu because I had watched that movie recently. This was my kind of first foray into 3 colors this year. It was Naya. It was From Exile, food, +1/+1 counters. It was a lot. And it was it was supposed to be an improvement to Faldorn, the Dreadwolf Herald, one of my favorite decks. And I was like, you know what? I feel like if I added a color, it would do more. Like this deck, I think this deck probably plays better not trying to do everything at once. Probably it's better if you focus it in on one. It's probably better as a group hug deck. It's like, I think I realized I was playing Faldorn wrong. I wanted like a play from exile burn deck. Like that's what I was like, because like Passionate Archaeologist was in the deck and like all that. Really, like Faldorn plays better as like you're relying on those tokens, like making a ton of tokens. So I think that's where my failure with Faldorn came from. And then with Rocco, I was trying to do just way too much. Like I should have focused it in on one thing.
Right.
Not a bad deck. Just ultimately, I was like, this isn't not something I'm jiving with. So
yeah, I don't think I saw that deck more than maybe
2 or 3
times.
Yeah, I think I only played it 2 or 3 times in paper before I was like, you know what? And we'll talk about later in the year. I ended up rebuilding Faldorn and I played it the other day and really, I think I kind of figured it out. I think it's
right.
Making tokens is the goal. So
you took it apart and put it back together, and
it's like my 4th time. I keep posting that meme of Brokeback Mountain, and it's like, I just can't quit you.
I can't quit you. Holding Faldorn.
Yeah, I'm like, I just can't quit you. All right. After Rocco Street Chef, we had your Mr. House.
Yes, Mr. House. I liked building the deck. I like talking about the deck. For some reason, it doesn't win, and it doesn't really do anything. I don't know why. I played it several times, and I've never really had it pop off. I think one time, like I started creating some tokens and started pumping them up, but at that point it was like turn 8 or something, like 7 or 8. Like the game was well past it's prime there. The only reason I was still alive, I think, is because everyone at the table felt bad for me, so stopped swinging in on me because I had nothing going on. So I can't even really count that. I don't really know. I'm not breaking it apart. I still have it. It's still right here because I'm still waiting for that goddamn automatic dice roller that I kickstarted a year and a half ago because of some bullshit. So I'm still waiting for that. But I want to give it another shot. I figure at this point I'll just give it a shot once I get my little trinket and play with it some more, because it's not really like there's a lot of cards coming out to
dice rolling.
So it's not like, oh well, it's been 8 months, let me crack it open, let's see what I can do. There's not too much of that because the whole deck was rolling dice, so unless there's some new dice rolling cards coming out, I don't really see how it's getting an upgrade. But with that said, I have it built. It's sitting right here, so it's not going anywhere. And most of those cards in there, I don't see myself needing to take out for other decks.
Yeah.
So I'll probably it'll probably be one of those decks I always have. So really hoping I kind of figure it out, because, I think I'll be playing that deck for a while. I would just hate to have one of those 0% win rate decks.
That's fair. Yeah. It's always a deck that like, it just feel like you had like a little bit more mana or just a little bit more resources. It just felt like it was right there every time.
I was always like once the game would end, it'd be like, if I had like 2 more turns, but you can't build a deck and hope to win on turn 10. It's games are usually turn 8, turn 9, somewhere around there. So if I'm, for the most part, just twiddling my thumbs for the first 6 turns in a game, it's like, it's the only reason I'm still alive is because people feel bad killing me. You don't want to kill the guy with nothing going on. But I think that's the only reason I even made it so late into some of those games where I could start playing stuff. I don't know what it was.
It feels like a little bit like So Bellow, Bar of the Brambles was
Mhm.
a pre-con that I upgraded this year. And there was very clearly like okay, if you want to be as strong as possible, you just go the Enchantress route, just all enchantments and all that. But
Mhm.
I wanted to do like vehicles and enchantments. It feels like Mr. House is that where it's like if you lean into just artifact synergy and dice rolling is second,
Mhm.
like the deck probably performs a little bit better. But the dice rolling
That's
is
why
the
I built the
fun
deck.
part. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the fun part. So it's like,
Like
why would you?
if I want an artifact deck, I think I even sent you a commander like a week or two ago, an artifact commander.
I think you did. I'm trying to think what it was.
Well, while I riff here, you look that up if you don't
Yeah, I
mind.
got you.
But that's the thing. If I want an artifact commander, I can build a much better artifact commander than Mister House. The whole reason was I want to roll dice,
Yeah.
and so I got my little dice tray out here. I got all my dice. I filled my little dice rolling tray with brew it or screw it stickers since I had so many extras. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But like I said, I don't see me taking any of those cards out because they're very much made
They're
for
fun.
for that deck.
Yeah.
It's all my dice rolling cards in one deck. So whatever, I'll keep it. I'll keep on trying it. I'll dust it off every couple of months, and maybe I'll get lucky. And once I win with it, then maybe I'll start playing with it some more. I really gotta start saving my commanders that I send you randomly throughout
I'm
the
about to say
day.
I am not seeing any artifact commanders recently. So
Yeah,
um
I'm not lying. I know that.
I definitely remember something. I don't know if maybe you said it to me while we were playing Marvel Rivals, but yeah.
Yeah, probably that. Oh well.
Um Next up was the second Spell Slinger. So this was an interesting deck. It was meant to be the deck could rotate commanders at any point to basically whatever the power level of the table was. So it was led by Breaches the Blastmaker, Eris Roar of the Storm, Crown Violent Cacophony, Malcolm the Eyes, and Stella Lee Wildcard were the five that I was like, I could swap these around.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately never made it to like a table to be played at because I think I took Stella Lee and was like, this is going to be my CDH deck I start making. And then I was like,
I
why
don't
would
remember
I
the
ever play
CD.
CDH deck? This happened, this deck came about like maybe a month after that incident at Command Fest. And so like where I was mentally with playing with other people and all that, like it wasn't good. So this deck just kind of fizzled and nothing came out of it. I do want it as a deck. We'll talk about it in personal decks later, but I did rebuild a deck from this year, and I do want it as a deck. I just don't know what I want from Izzet yet. So
And so
still
what?
trying to get
Well,
there.
you used to have you had Gandalf,
Gandalf, which I rebuilt it, and I'm gonna talk about how how that went for me.
and you didn't really like that. You didn't really like
Yeah,
that one though.
yeah, it was all right, I guess. But I'll get more into that. So yeah, second spell slinger kind of never went anywhere. The next deck that we ended up doing was Niv Mizzet Guild Pact.
I
This
remember
was
that deck.
this was the Pride Month deck we did for one of our listeners, Joseph. So neither of us ended up building this, but Joseph did say that he is planning on putting this together once he has the funds for it. So I was pretty happy about that when he let us know that.
Was it LGBTQIAD deck? D is
Yeah,
for
it was
dragons.
D is for dragons. I like this one. I thought it was cool. As a bisexual person, like being able to do a pride deck was a lot of fun. So I appreciated the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, that was a fun deck, and it was fun. It was just fun building it because I don't have any 5-color decks, and that was the whole thing. It was all dragons, but all the dragons had to be 2-color.
2-color,
There
yeah.
was no monocolor dragons, and there was no 3-color dragon. I think we only did.
I think it was only
Duo-color dragons.
Duo-color because Niv Mizzet only cared about the 2 colors.
We weren't being problematic, but that restriction was he only cared about the 2-color thing, so that's how he did it. So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
I cannot find this commander. I'm gonna stop looking.
Next up was Falthus in a Chroma. This was our attempt at fixing your keyword soup deck, and
I thought it fixed it. And then I tried it. I think I tried 3 games and nothing. I couldn't get anything going. I think I just have the worst luck sometimes because I either get mana screwed or I like play all my cards and then don't have enough card draws. So I'm just sitting there with like 1 or 2 cards in hand. It just didn't work. Just did not happen. And it's so funny. I think that, you brought up, you're like, I listened to last year's episode and you're contemplating making your keywords deck just mono white Odric again. And
Here we are a year later.
Yeah, and we talked about that last episode as well. And I'm happy to say that my keywords deck is now mono white Odric again. I have started the conversion here with pulling the cards from other decks and from my collection and stuff. So next time I play keywords, it will be mono white Odric. Better win that game. Otherwise, I'm just going to burn all the cards and record it for the podcast.
If you don't win, I think at least as long as you have a good showing. Yeah, I think that's been the biggest issue. Is that I feel like every time you play it, you're like, I did nothing this game. So right. I think as long as you have a good showing, I think
that's
you'll
the
be
thing.
happy.
I am very much so not the guy that this deck didn't win, it's not good. But if the deck doesn't do anything, and then that's when I start getting pissed off. So yeah. I feel like my keywords deck for the most part never really does anything. Whereas when it was mono white Odric, I was doing something just because the second the commander hits the table, your entire board gets better. Whereas there's not really any other commander like that except for a Chroma that's 7 mana, so that barely counts. So I think I tried to get fancy. I tried several iterations of it, so I think I'm just going back to the original. A couple new cards I'll be putting in there. I think I just bought, was it the 7 Sire of Death?
Sire of 7 Deaths or something.
Sire of 7, yeah, whatever that random colorless Eldrazi with all the keywords and stuff on it. I'm like, it's perfect.
Yeah,
I'm upgrading that currently. Next time you see it, next time you hear me talk about it on the pod, it'll be that. Maybe we'll do a brew review for one of those. We used to do those.
Yeah. We used to just wait. That's the name of the podcast.
I know. It's confusing.
Next up, we covered Shanique's.
We skipped that deck. It sucks.
Oh my god, I love this deck. I made this for a charity event. I was like, it's all cards off my deck or off my desk and in my box, and it has been one of my favorite decks since I've made it. Like, I love playing this deck a lot.
You bust it out all the time. Whenever we're playing, you're always like, can I play Shanique?
It's so fucking simple. I just want to play legendary creatures and then turn them sideways, and like that's fucking enough, man. Like, I like that. I always love finding like new interactions for the different legendaries coming down. I'm like, oh well, I didn't realize this was going to interact like this, but fucking hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah, good thing.
A deck I've started to bling out. I bought that old Kamigawa land that was signed by the artist from Cole, because I was like, you know what, this is a deck, I'm never gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna start blinging it out. So I was really excited about that. But yeah, just really cool deck. Love it a lot.
I'm not gonna lie though, you have blinged out several decks that no longer exist since we started playing.
I do have those Minsc and Boo sleeves, and there's no longer
Minsc and Boo sleeves. You have all those full art planes from your Light Claws deck.
Those are now in Shahid. I do want to get, because he's from Dominaria, and those were the Dominaria full arts. I want to get all the full art stained glass. I love that stained glass land set. It's so good.
You're talking to the Angels player here, so
there you go. Yeah,
I fully get that. But no, that's a fun deck. I like playing against it just because it's legendary creatures are like the most fun creatures usually, and
it's why we play this format. So yeah.
It really is. So it's so cool. It's like a deck just filled with commanders.
Yeah. Next up was Cleopatra.
That was my take on the legendaries matter. This was Golgari. I've kind of, as much as I play white and play angels, I feel like my favorite color pairing for the most part is Golgari. I have several Golgari decks and I think like 2 Abzan decks. So I pretty much try to work that in a lot. And Cleopatra was the Legendary Matters deck with her. And I've played that a bunch of times as well. I don't think it's won yet, but
I don't think so.
I think that's because it gets so scary and people start killing me.
Like, and it's so funny, Laz, I love you as a player, because Laz will have the game of his fucking life. He'll lose, and he'll be like, this fucking deck is trash. It's like, you had a 2020 on board.
Okay,
what are you talking about?
Once the initial salt subsides, then I can, in the moment, I'm like, this deck can't close out games. But in reality, it's what I do. I think this was the deck I played most recently. We played last week, and
Yeah, I think so.
we were playing, and somebody, Creeps was playing Xancha, and
Yes.
so he tried to be slick. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna," he put Xancha on me. He gave me Xancha. So I'm like, all right, give me your legendary creature. And on my turn, I buffed it up, and then I played a card, sacrificed it just for like a colorless mana, and I got to draw, I think, 10 cards, 15 cards.
It was a lot.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, I killed your creature that you put on me. I get to draw all these cards. I got to move some of the counters over. I'm like, thank you so much for this wonderful gift. I think I lost to you being salty that game. I think you killed me out of spite. I think that's how I died.
I don't think so. I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah, because I
know Alan was getting very scary because Alan had like a bunch of token doublers out, and he had an army of zombies. And if I didn't hit a board wipe at the precise moment, it was probably over for me and Mike. I think maybe I did kill you. I think I did
you did kill me like out of nowhere because you had Xaxes. So you're like, all right, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah,
hit you for 34 flying damage or something ridiculous.
I don't know if it was flying. I had wolves. It was Faldorn. That was the Faldorn return.
So it's probably flyers, but
it's not flyers.
But no, Cleopatra. That's a deck that I really enjoy, and same thing. I'll be upgrading that continually because I see myself playing that deck for a while. It was fun. I was looking because I had some Card Kingdom credit. I'm like, let me see if there's, because she's from the Assassin's Creed set. I'm like, I know Assassin's Creed had some like cool versions, alt versions, and she does have a serialized card, but it's only in Greek. And it's $600.
Ooh.
I'm like, all right, so I guess that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Maybe it'll go down in price one day.
Maybe one day, yeah.
I have a Greek commander. I don't know why it's in Greek. I'm sure there's a reason.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know if that's the game she was introduced in. Was the that one or what? But yeah,
she's Egyptian though.
I know. That's why I'm so confused.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
Okay, good. Got my crack team on it.
I got you. Next up was my Jared Carthalion True Air deck.
Your super secret surprise.
My super secret surprise.
Gotcha moment.
Yeah.
Look what I can do, deck. Right, go on. Sorry, I interrupted.
This was like my real big failure of the year. This was a Aikido list. This was me finding out I don't enjoy control decks. I don't enjoy I enjoy the interaction of like constantly having something to do on my turn, but I don't enjoy constantly fucking with people's stuff and things like that. I'd rather just, this is where I found out, hey, I like aggro. I like turning things sideways.
I could have told you that.
I know.
You had to learn for yourself, and I could have told you Jared sucks.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this obviously someone out there has a Jared deck that works. It's not me. It's not you.
It's not me.
It's not this podcast. He's cursed.
We have now tried twice in two completely different fashions.
Yeah.
I just remember you're like, no, I have a secret commander for the next time we play.
I was so excited.
You're so excited.
What a deck that play tested fucking I was like, oh, this is so good. I'm fucking killing I'm putting stuff on people's creatures and I'm living, and then in paper lost every game and I was miserable the entire time.
Yeah,
so,
lost and you weren't having fun. So that's the two.
That's the worst.
That's the worst combo.
Yeah, because I'm fine losing if I'm having a good time with the deck. Like Shanid's a deck where it's like, cool, if I lose, hey, at least I was going out swinging, But with Jared, it was constantly like, I am not having fun. I'm doing nothing. This sucks. So yeah. And that rounded out kind of the year of, the decks we got. We did the starter decks, but I didn't, they're kind of.
You've already stolen my starter deck, so,
I did tell you I want to build a Rabo, which I started looking at cards for last night. So yeah. So yeah, that was the year in podcast decks. I feel like a good little list. A little shorter because we did the coverage in February, but yeah. So yeah. We did outside of the podcast build a couple decks. Les, you want to start with your?
Yeah, I bought two. I built two almost identical decks. And I went into this our last episode too, where I was going to build Mustard, Commander Mustard from the Clue set, And then Arabella came out. So I was like, all right, I'll just do everything into Arabella. And then like kind of while building it, and I think even mid conversation while talking about it, I was like, you know what? They're both Boros kind of weenies decks, but different enough. I was like, you know what? I think I could do both decks, and I ended up just kind of building both of them and been playing both of them on and off. Commander Mustard has yet to really do much. I think I only played him 2, maybe 3 times, and the soldiers, I don't know, it takes a little bit to get them out sometimes, and then when they're out there, they're not really strong yet. I don't know. I have to play test a little bit more. I'd like to try it a little bit more. Arabella, on the other hand, has done fantastic. Crazy life gain, good card draw, lots of creatures, pinging everyone at the table. It's fantastic. I really enjoy Arabella. With that said, I'm not sure how I'm going to continue to build her, because the more I tinker around with her, the more she slowly turns into a goblin commander.
Yeah.
And it's like, do I just do it, pretty much a goblin deck with Arabella at the helm? It's like, I don't know. I've always wanted to build a goblin deck, but I didn't want to just do the Krenko thing. And this is kind of a fun twist on that. So I'm not sure. I literally think I'm just going to end up with 2 Arabella lists. Even if I get rid of Mustard, I might just have Arabella Goblins and Arabella Boros Weenies. Both decks are fun to play. Arabella definitely more so. She might be a little bit of a lightning rod though, since I think I killed someone like turn 4 or something when I played it that first or second game. I had a ton of tokens out there and just was pinging everybody for 10 damage every single time they attacked. So it was good.
I was not expecting that first game where it was like I think it was turn 4, and you had 5 1/1s out, and you swung with Arabella, and you drained us all for 5, and you're like, all right, now I'm up to 55, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? Hold on.
No one had removal, so it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and I had lots of create 3 token cards and stuff like that. So
yeah,
imagine if it's goblins though. Those goblins, they duplicate and they get crazy big. Could be goblins.
Both Arabella and Mustard are very like fun decks to watch you play. Different enough that I think you could keep both around if you wanted to.
I like Arabella just because of the restriction of it's kind of a tribal deck. It's kind of tribal in the fact that it's weenies. Everything's tribal in Magic.
I was like, Laz says everything is tribal.
Everything's tribal.
It's Board Tribal. Oh, it's Counterspell Tribal.
It's weenie tribal, but there's no anthem effects in the deck because it cares about power. 2 or less.
Yeah.
So I kind of like, because I have the Rats deck, I have a Vampires deck, I have an Angels deck, and all of them, it's like, all right, was it Door of Destinies, and all those enchantments and artifacts that kind of pump up all your stuff. And this is one of those decks where I was like, I don't need any of those because I don't want to pump up anything. I don't have anything that adds counters. I don't have to worry about any keywords that melee and mentor and all that stuff. I'm like, nope, I don't want any of that because everything needs to stay little. So it's kind of a fun take of, hey, maybe I'll do a goblin stack and not have to worry about anything that other goblins get +1/+1. It's like, nope, I'm not going to put that in because I don't want that.
You really just want the stuff that makes a ton on enter and stuff like that. So yeah. Both really, really awesome decks.
I built slightly more decks personally.
Well, I tinker a lot more. Vosh, Gloom Summoner. The one you suggested to me to put in a 99 of Raphael, and Raphael just ended up becoming Tavash. I remember it was like the day after we recorded that podcast. I was sitting at work and I was like looking at the EDH page and I was like looking at a couple lists online and I was like, I think I'm just going to build this guy by himself. And then I did. I think I placed an order at my LGS like the next day, and I was like, let's go. So I was just off to the races. I love that deck. It's like this cool like life gain, burn, make big demons. Like it does so much, but like it all works.
It's scary to play against. I've played against this a couple of times, and it's like, all right, Cody, what are you doing here?
I definitely realized like this deck like has the potential to be like I think my strongest deck at the moment. Like it can hang because that life gain just keeps you in the game for so long, and then like when I don't need a life gain, I'll just make big demons or I'll burn you to death because I have all these effects. It's like when I gain life, you lose life. So
Who
yeah,
would have thought?
love
Life game was
who
good.
who would have thought? Yeah, more at 11.
I've been saying it for years. Everyone makes fun of me. Why you got life gain in every single deck? Life gains are the best. I love life
Yeah.
gain.
Next up, I built Judith, the Scourge Diva. Is that the name of that card? Look at my first. Yeah, the Scourge Diva. There's two now, so I'm always like, which. This is my like it's pingers because I've watched a video from a guy named 33 Elk, and he had this list, and I was like, I like this. I'm gonna kind of like tweak it a little bit and like kind of make it my own. There's that Kelsey and the Plague deck, which is like it's pings and like you want to give the guy Death Touch usually, and this is kind of similar where if you give Judith Death Touch, you can like sack your stuff and ping people's stuff down. It's a little control-y. It's really aristocrat-y. I got to do a really cool like achievement the other day where I got to play Rise of the Dark Realms, and I revived a bunch of stuff, and then just proceeded to sack it all and like ping everyone to death. I think it was like turn 8 or 9, and I pinged everybody from like in the 30s to death, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, this was cool." The first couple games I played with it's a little slow. It takes a little bit. It's aristocrats. You got to kind of build up and like get to your engines and stuff.
Well, you need tokens to sacrifice. You don't want to sacrifice your only creatures. You need your sack outlets out there.
That's the interesting thing is Judith only cares about non-token creatures dying. So it's like, yeah, it really is a little tougher in that aspect. So yeah, but a fun one. I go back and forth on this one because I'm like the aggro player in me is like I could just do like a combat focused Rakdos deck instead, but I'm chilling for right now. I'm gonna let Judith ride for a couple more months, see how I feel about it. But yeah, I'm gonna do new decks and then I'll cover the decks that I rebuilt. Captain America. I've only played it once. It got scary. I'm not sure how I like aggro, but I don't know if I like Voltron. I don't like putting everything on one creature, and if that creature gets hard targeted, I'm just like out of the game pretty much.
Right. Was I playing that game?
I think you were.
Yeah, against Cap. Yeah, I don't know. It seems fun. Put a bunch of equipment on and then just throwing it around and things like that. I don't know. I haven't paid much attention to people playing Cap or anything because I couldn't get that secret layer, so all those cards are dead to me. But I don't know. I think definitely give Cap more of a shake because it is very much so a Voltron deck, but I think that's a very fun twist on it that you're
just throwing stuff,
throwing and crap. It should be more like Moon Knight. That comic panel, the random bullshit go. It's kind of like that. You're throwing boots, you're throwing swords, you're throwing shields.
One big thing is like everybody puts that Excalibur sword in the deck, and I don't have one in this deck, and I kind of want to keep it that way because I feel like it's just too easy. Like, oh, I'm throwing a 12 power fucking sword at somebody. Here we go. But it's like,
gotta throw a World Slayer at someone. I bought a World Slayer, and I've never put it in my deck.
It's not the really rude one where it's like whenever you deal damage, destroy everything else.
Yeah, I bought it for my
just a kettle.
Yeah,
it is.
I bought that for when I first started playing because I built that Kalia deck and I had Avacyn. I'm like, I'm gonna have Avacyn, and when I have it, let's see, whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, destroy all permanents other than World Slayer.
Jesus, just fuck you in particular.
Well, that's the thing, you give your stuff protection, and then you just throw World Slayer at somebody.
I don't know if I'll put that in the deck, but
why not?
I don't know. I'm gonna give it more of a shake. It's tough. I don't know. Voltron's weird for me, and I love Captain America, so it's like
well, that's the thing. So you don't play him in Rivals,
He sucks in Rivals.
Yeah,
man, we should just make that Rivals podcast where I can just vent for 5 minutes about how terrible Captain America is.
It'll be the shortest podcast ever. Just gonna be, hey guys, fuck this game. All right, join us next week. Cap's okay. He's man, I was playing last night, and there was just a Cap that kept me and the other healer just kind of locked into a back corner, just running around, jumping, diving, splashing us up, charging us into a wall. It was like so annoying. I could not leave this tiny little corner. And I just could not do enough damage to kill him. It's like, you son of a bitch. Like, how come you're not this good when I play you?
What the fuck?
Save it for Rivals Radio.
Yeah, Rebels Radio coming at you in 2025. Maybe. Next up, in January, our friend Nick was like, "Hey, I'm probably taking apart Arcades," and I was like, "You should." I jokingly was like, "Oh, you should give me the parts to it because I'll build them." And he did that. He took out all the like cards he wanted to keep, and then gave me like the shell of Arcades. And I had been like in the back of my head, like I should build this for a long time, and I finally pulled the trigger the other day. I like that deck a lot. It's like it's just I'm playing big creatures that block shit, but then I get to turn them sideways. And all the meanwhile, I have a commander that is vigilance and flying, so I'm like kind of getting a little damage in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it. I like it a lot. I bought some upgrades for it. I haven't got to play it since I got the upgrades. I'll probably try to play it tonight a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, I like Arcades a lot. I don't know if you had experience playing against Nick when you played
I
Arcades.
played against Nick's Arcade several times in the past, so that's you know, he sucks. I hate it, but I can't get anything in. But I'm sure you'll have better luck. And I'm sure I'll hate it just as much when you play it.
Definitely, I was like, you know what? Everyone else has like a commander from the top 100. I want a commander from the top 100.
I'm sure you have several commanders from the top 100.
I think all my stuff is kind of lower.
I think I have like 5 commanders in the top 10, the top 20. Unfortunately, it sucks,
I mean, it's just the way of the game. The powerful commanders get made a lot of decks.
Giada and Edgar, Corvold,
Hanamar.
Is Hanamar top 100?
He's probably in the top 50, I'd say. Top 25.
Can't help it.
Decks that I remade this year. Talk about Gandalf first, because that was kind of a... So like I said, one is a deck. I put back together Gandalf, but I didn't do the normal Spellslinger thing. I went with like making a bunch of copies of Gandalf to then do the Spellslinger thing.
Mm-hmm.
I played it once, and it just kind of felt like I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and then when the moment arrives, I was like, cool, here's this giant spell, here's me swinging 7 different Gandalfs at you to win the game. And I didn't really like that playstyle too much. So I don't know if Gandalf will stay where it's at. Gotta sit down, I gotta figure out something, because I got all these Izzet cards.
You gotta do something with them.
I gotta do something with them. I can't just let them sit,
I'm looking, I do have a lot of top 20. Adamar's 23.
Told you.
Corvold's 26. Jeez, man. Oh well.
Such a meta slave.
That's a meta slut. I could have told you that.
Finally, last deck I ever built this year, Faldorn, Dreadwolf Herald. Just can't quit her. Keep going back to her.
So what did you change? You said you were doing more token or more token based for this one, right?
Yeah, more token based, less focused on the burn. Like I think I might have put Passionate Archaeologist, but I kept the other cards out that were burn, like Place from Exile, burn people.
Mm-hmm.
I mainly just focused on I want to make tokens. I want to make a lot of tokens. I have different ways to make tokens. I have payoffs for that, and I think it played really well the other night. I got to play that delayed blast fireball off that Escapes of the Wilds. That was fucking cool.
I know you were talking about
the game. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm excited to play it more. I think I have firmly decided I'm keeping it together. I'm not going to fucking in 2 weeks be like, you know what this needs? Blue.
We'll have to update everybody in a bit.
Yeah. Faldorn Watch 2025. I got y'all.
Even House is number 70.
I feel like that one, I mean,
dice rolling sucks.
People were like, oh, hey, dice rolling. Let's make a bunch of decks off of this. Also, it's got that precon effect. Like, people buy precons, and like those commanders always end up really, like Atraxos in a precon. I'm sure a lot of the bulk of the decks that were made were precons at the start. Ediatrek has a little bit of a asterisk there for those. So yeah, that was the personal decks that we made this year. I turned to the Discord and I was like, hey, is there anything you wanted us to talk about on the show? And one of the questions was, what new content did we find this year? Laz does not watch Magic content as much as I do, apparently.
Really? I got the ADD or something. I can't watch, my cousins send me videos and they're like, oh, watch this. It's good to just have on in the background. On in the background does not exist for me. I can't do anything on in the background. I turn my radio down in the car when I have to make a left turn. There is.
I feel that one a little bit though.
Yeah, there is no on in the background. I could be watching The Office and I'll pause it to respond to a text message, even though I've seen the episode 30 times.
I mean, hey, can't miss those
Yeah.
people jokes.
So I don't really, shorts, however, the YouTube shorts, worst, this is going to be the worst shout out ever. There's these 4 fat Guido guys that get drunk and play Magic and just
Oh
yell and
god.
curse at each other. And it's the funniest shit in the world.
Since you sent me those videos, they pop up all the time for me. It's like
So
Calzones and Cardboard, I think is their
that's
name.
what it is. Calzones and Cardboard. I love it so much.
It's so fucking stupid.
It's
They're
so
constantly drunk and yelling at each other, and they're like, "What do you mean it doesn't resolve?
Why doesn't it resolve? Because the card's not on the table. I played the card. It's not on the table. Well, because I threw it at you. Why'd you throw it? I was trying to be like Gambit.
It's so stupid.
It's
That
so
is
dumb. But
it is good. It is good.
it was cracking me up watching those. That's what I aspire to.
That's fair. Yeah, we could definitely we should try to recreate it. I'm up there next year.
I'll have like half a wine cooler and be like, I'm sleeping.
New content for me this year. I dived into a lot of new podcasts and YouTube shows. Podcast wise, I had listened to them a little bit, but Legendary Creatures podcast, like I listened to a lot of their backlog this year. I ended up joining their Discord. I joined their Patreon. I'm in their Discord. It's actually where I met Garbage, who's in our Discord. He's the one who asked, what new content did you find this year? Them, Howling Salt Mine. Laz, I feel like you would love that show. They read salty stories from all across. I just went back and started listening from them episode 1, and it's literally them just reading Reddit stories of people's salty things and talking about it, and I love that.
Which I want to give that a try, because I think I even suggested to you like months ago. I'm like, we should do kind of like a Am I the Asshole, but with Magic submissions. You're like, no, that already exists, kind of. Yeah. I'm like, all right.
YouTube wise, I started watching this channel called Dankus Dungeon, which you would think has nothing to do with Magic, but that's all they play is Magic. It's a little higher power EDH stuff sometimes. Sometimes they play precons. They're pretty good about whenever a new commander, like a new set releases, they'll show different commanders from that set. So I like that from them. I will give you the premise that if there's a guy named Corbin on the show, either you're really going to love that he storms off every game, or you're going to be really bored. I generally, personally, am very bored whenever he storms off. The other day, though, he did it in a mono white deck, and I was honestly
kind of impressed. Yeah,
I was like, okay, great,
all right. I didn't know that was a thing.
So, yeah, those are the big 3 that I've started watching a little bit more. Quest for the Jank Lord, always love them.
Yeah,
their shit's great.
They did an episode or 2 ago where they had the hipster calculator.
The hipster calculator, yeah.
I'm like, we should start doing that. You have to. You're only allowed to play a certain hipster level. It was like a website that you plug in your commander, and it tells you how unique it is, and you plug in all the cards, and it tells you kind of like how unique your deck is. And I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. It gives you a score a threshold to try to stay below. I know I play a lot of fighting games, and one of the games I play a lot of is Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And what kind of when the meta started getting stale with the higher power characters establishing themselves, some people started doing, I forget exactly what they called it. Pretty much it was a consensus of giving each character a power ranking, and then saying it's teams of 3, and saying, all right, well, your team has to be less than 10 points. It's like, all right, well, I want to play a 0. It's like, all right, well, 0 is 8 points right there. So you can only play the best character in the game if you're going to play the 2 worst characters in the game alongside them. And it kind of just, I like fun restrictions like that to kind of force people. So I saw that hipster index there, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. So it has to be 70% hipster, our decks.
Next up, Cole asked us, what were some cool decks that we saw this year? So I know for me, like, Cole asked the question, I'll say Cole's Radenhagen list is really cool because it does equipment in a different way, because it's about getting equipment into the graveyard to then bring them back, and you get to do a couple like cool things with that, like the binding blade that turns into a giant demon. I've seen him pull that off twice, where he throws it into the yard off of like a discard spell, and then he swings his commander in and he brings it back attached to a menace 2/2, and he swings that menace 2/2 and he flips it into that demon, and it's like, holy shit, that's insane.
Yeah.
So I like that deck a lot.
I really liked that Gev Scorched Scale.
Scaled Scorched,
Scaled Scorched, yeah. That was and I've watched a couple of videos on YouTube of people kind of playing that and all kind of doing the same thing. And I was talking about last episode. That's a deck I'd like to build, just because It seems like a really cool thing.
Yeah.
Talk about cool decks.
Quinn.
I wish I saw. Wish I
Oh,
saw.
what you got?
Wish I saw Bloodrick do something. But
Oh,
that's
Jesus Christ. For the throat. Talking about Quinn, Cole's co-host, Quinn's Ezio list, that was really cool. And when Alan started playing his, I was like, you should really take a look at this list because, like, it's all swamps. It's 5-color all swamps. It's just cool. Yeah. Laz, your Cleopatra list, I liked it a lot. Like, every time you played it, like, I've enjoyed playing against it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Highly recommend
I made the
Cleopatra
list.
people. You did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cleopatra's a fun deck.
It is, yeah. Oh man, because we play so much with our own pod, I feel like I'm just shouting out people's own decks. Nick had an Alistar the Brigand. I think was the name.
I hated that.
That deck was insane, though. Like, what a crazy! I think it was also Legendary Matters. Let me see. I'm gonna find out. I feel like I'm saying the name wrong.
Yeah, that was from
the Brigadier. It was from Doctor Who.
Okay, yeah, it was the Doctor Who. Was it Selesnya? Is that the Selesnya?
Bant. It was Bant.
Okay,
so
of course. All
Selesnya
right.
was blue, yeah.
Yeah.
He is a big Bant player with his True Lane and all that.
No, I play everybody. It's like, yeah, but all your decks are Bant, though.
Yeah. It's a Crater Hoof in the command zone, pretty much, for historic spells. And so he was doing a lot of artifact stuff and a lot of legendary creatures. So, yeah, he's only played it a couple times against us, but every time I'm like, fuck, this deck is scary.
Yeah, it's a real pain in the ass.
So, yeah. Yeah, those are some of the cool decks we saw this year. And last, you have any other ones you want to shout out? Maybe one of mine?
You have so many. It's kind of hard. It's very hard. No.
How dare you?
I said I liked your Tavash deck. I like it because it's the only deck you have that also has life gain. And you're slowly realizing how
good life gain is.
Fun life gain is. And I've seen you play that with some of the with some of those spells that just make your guy, like a 15-15 or a 20-20. You just those random spells where you gain a huge chunk of life all in one shot, and then now you got something to deal with. So I like seeing Tavash. I don't like playing against it, but I did like seeing it.
All right, and then ending off our episode here, I recorded every game I played in 2024. I got this idea from EDH Rec. And I kind of like the idea. I wanted to see like kind of how I did overall. So as of recording, I'm at 98 games. I will probably finish the year a little over 100 just because like we'll have the holiday break next week, and I'm sure we'll get together and play games with the guys.
We'll try to play tonight.
Yeah.
I really want to record my games for next year. I was listening to the EDH Rec guys talk about it, and I was like, I would like to. I don't know if I would record every single thing they recorded because one guy, he went like, all right, well, I went, how often does the person who starts first win? How often does the person who starts second? How often is fast mana? I'm like, no, I want win-loss, and then I would like to know how many rounds every match was.
That's fair, yeah. So what I did was I had the date I played, the commander I played, my win or loss, the other commanders that were in the pod, how it ended, where I gave like a short little like, this is how the game ended for me. Either I was taken out early, things like that.
Gee, you did this 98 times?
Yeah. And then was it fun?
Nerd.
Yeah. Overall, so like I liked doing this at first. It got a little tedious in the middle, and towards the end I was just so used to it that I was kind of like, okay, whatever. I think going into next year I will do a smaller version. It was interesting to see just like, how often I'm winning or losing. The how it ended was always kind of unique because like no answers were usually the same. It was always something crazy happened, so I like that.
See, if I did it, it'd be the same answer all the time for how the game ends. Bullshit. Yes, it's just I don't know why you don't just have it defaulted for how the game ends every time. It's stupid bullshit.
It's stupid bullshit.
People cheating.
So my win-loss ratio for the year, I lost 65 games. I've won 33. So it's about a 33%. It's like, I think it's like 33.67%.
That's good.
Win-loss ratio.
Above average.
That's pretty good. Yeah. I think, I think most people say like if you have 25%, you're doing good. The decks I played the most, which there's a little caveat here on the number 3 spot, because so for Volo, I'm pretty sure I played Volo the third most because I played your Volo when I was there in January.
Mm-hmm.
I played my Volo a good couple times, but then when I changed it to Volo Karuga, I changed how I was naming it. And so
Okay.
the spreadsheet doesn't pick that up. So I played Tavash 12 times this year, Shanid 10, Volo, I believe I've played 9 games as a Volo deck in general. I played, after that, like almost all my commanders that I played this year had 4 games. So it was like Jared, I played 4 times. I played the Davros Dalek precon 4
Mm-hmm.
times. Faldorn, I played 4 times. Namada, when I had that Golgari
Yeah, I remember
aristocrat
Namada.
deck. Yeah. So yeah, I played a lot of commanders about 4 times. But Tavash and Sneed, those 2 decks, I mean, they've been holding strong. They've been my favorite 2 this year.
Yeah, well, I could have told you those are probably your top 2.
Yeah.
I would have guessed.
With Shanid, I have like a 70% win rate. I've
Mm.
won like a good number of those games. Tavash is about half, about 50%. I've won 6, lost 6. So the big one for me was the fun one because I was like, how often were games fun? And I'm pleasantly surprised to say that at least 50% of the games were just a solid yes.
Mm-hmm.
There were some yes and no's, some fun ones for here. I have one game just said fuck no. It was not fun. Oh, I wish I could find that one. I think I can. Would you like to know how that game ended?
Yes, I would.
It was an infinite combo with Kiki Jiki and that one red card that lets you steal a card. It's a creature. I'm blanking on the name of it. He pretty much just made infinite, and then he
Okay.
had an altar of the brood out. So every time something entered, we were milling cards. So then he passed the turn. That was a game where I played 2 games with that guy, and each time he had a shit-eating grin on his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted, I've never wanted to physically harm somebody in a fucking Magic game, but I just wanted to bitch slap the fuck out of him, as it showed to this note. And I'm not a violent person, so, you know.
I don't know. You hit me a lot when we played in person. You kept reaching over the table, splashing my
I
deck,
don't know about that.
splashing it all across the table, and slapping me as I bent down to pick it up. It was messed up.
I had about 15 games that were yes and no. And generally those are games where it's like I'm having fun playing the deck, but then like the game usually wasn't fun for me on that deck. Only about 5 games were just a solid no. I had one nah, which
This seems like a yes, no.
seems like a yes.
Okay, no, yes. How many games would I play with you in there? That's what I want to know. I know that's too much to ask you to compile right now.
Yes, a lot. I should have came prepared with that. I feel like we have played at least. I played 98 games at this point. I would say probably over 50% have been with you.
I highly doubt that. I don't think I've
really
played more than like 30 games this year.
I'll go through after the show and I'll find out for you.
Look at that! I don't even have to do the work because I usually play with you, so I'll just let you compile your.
Right? Yeah, I'll just do everything for you.
I'll just text you after a game and let you know if I had fun.
Yeah. So like I said, I think I learned a lot from this. I think it helped kind of put in perspective. Like I went on a massive losing streak.
I
in
believe
January, February time. It like started with when I was up there in January, and it continued into February. And it wasn't until like I randomly won a game with Volo that I was like, okay, I feel a little bit better about myself. But there was a hot minute there where I was like, fuck, this is not going good for me this year.
It's funny. I think I'm on the coldest of cold streaks right now, and that's why I'm also glad I don't track my games because I do feel like I haven't won in a couple of months. I would say
you won the other day.
Did I? Oh, it was against Blood Odric. That was really that hard of a game.
You won the Griswold. You won with Griswold and Arabella in the past like month. I don't want to hear shit from you.
Okay, well the Arabella one just was by surprise by people not knowing what it does. Griswold, that was a gorgeous game. I think it was like a 60-60 or it's like some insane, like a 40-40.
It was huge.
Griswold's commander just swinging in. That was good stuff.
My best win streak was a weekend in July where I won 5 games back to back to back. 3 of which were with Shanid, 1 was with Tavash, and then 1 was on Calamity, Galloping Inferno.
Okay.
Which was, I think, the game where I was like, this deck is so boring because all it does is win by one card. Yeah, I think going into 2025, I will keep a smaller version of this. I want to keep the commanders I play with recorded. I want to know what I'm playing against. I saw a lot. That was interestingly I never saw a repeat outside of Osier Axonil because Alan played it and then someone else played it.
Okay.
But every other commander I saw at least one time. I think there was a couple like Ezio's and things like that repeated, but for some reason it's not tracking that. But a lot of times I was seeing new commanders every time I played, so
That's
that was
fun.
kind of nice. I like that. But yeah, I think next year I kind of thinking about doing this like achievement style thing, like with the Rise of the Dark Realms the other day. Like
Mhm.
just record like write down like, okay, hey, I played this commander. This is who I played against. Was it fun? Yes or no. But instead of like detailing how the game ended, just hey, the achievement for this game was I made 20 wolves and turned them sideways and won the game.
I
That's
ate
the
their flux
achievement.
reservoir at the table.
Yeah, things like that. Like
Mhm.
just cool moments. I don't really like win loss. Not that important to me nowadays. It's more about am I having fun with the deck.
Does the deck do the thing?
Um,
That's what I care
yeah,
about.
yeah. Does the deck do the thing? I mean, trust me. Getting towards the end there, I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna hit 100 games this year. And I know like 100 games to some people is like chump work because they go to like they play every weekend. They go to an LGS, but like life this year was tough for me. After the trip up in January, I found out I had a kind of major health scare. So like life became a little hectic for me. And then I took on a big role at work this year. So I'm pretty proud that I'm gonna end the year a little over 100.
Absolutely. I think that's crazy that you got up to 100 games. Like, I want that to be my goal for next year to hit 100 games. I feel like I won't even be able to get to that, but hey, I'd like to try. That's what I'm ambitious for, is to try to get 100 games.
Looking forward to recording, see how many of these we actually play together. I feel like it's got to be over 50%. So
I would be shocked because I feel like I don't play nearly that much, and you play a lot with other people.
I do. Yeah, I do. I think I only played one league this year. Last year, I played a lot of leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was in a Discord where we were playing a league like every other month. This one, I only did a pre-con league one time. But yeah, hey, you know what? It's a new Laz. You're out there playing with random people you've never met before.
I know I'm undefeated on
Like
stream.
three, you are. It's insane.
It's so fun. Those are the only games I win. People who don't know me. What does that say?
What is that? What is that?
What does that say about me?
You're a snake in the grass.
Yeah, it does. Crap, is it? Well, I played yeah, guess what? I won as Griswold. I won as Animar was the other game I won with. Is that what it was? Something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, because I was like, oh, it's just a elemental deck with some Eldrazi.
With some, just a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit of Eldrazi.
But yeah. All right. Well, hey, Laz, you got anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that's it. You know, I think it was a good year for Magic, and like I said, we're trending up so far with how much we're playing and getting our excitement back up and back into it. So I think we're going to be playing a lot more now. I think the Discord is going to help with that too. So it's nice seeing people and talking to people, and all it takes is someone to start talking about a deck and someone saying, I have something similar, and all right, let's see if we play against each other. Let's try to set something up. So I think that I'll be hopefully playing a lot more games with those people and kind of increasing my game log as well. So that's what I'm excited for. That's what I'm hopeful for.
A good year for the show. I mean, we like I was telling you, like on the last year's kind of like in the year thing, we were like, yeah, we passed 2,000 listens. Currently, we're sitting at 6,944 listens across the podcast. So like we're probably gonna pass 7,000 listens.
That's crazy.
By the new year. We're cooking.
Next year maybe we'll hit 10,000. Who knows?
Maybe we'll hit 10,000. I feel like we've grown a lot. We learned from a lot of mistakes we did.
Mm-hmm.
I took over editing the podcast, and I think we're getting into a good cadence where we can do 2 shows a month. So that's kind of nice. And yeah, I'm excited for 2025 what it brings to the podcast. I mean, we're going into year 2 of this in February, so I'm excited.
Yeah, year 3, right? Year 2 or okay.
The end of
we'll
hit year 2.
We'll hit year 2 and start year 3.
Yeah. Thank you, Laz, so much for doing this with me.
Oh, thank you.
It's been a blast the entire time. I know we butt heads sometimes on things, but
what?
Oh, I mean,
no.
I think we have different ideas at times, and but I think we always come together and kind of figure it out. And I'm happy with where we're at with the podcast. And
I love
I'm
coming
enjoying
together
it a lot.
with you.
Oh, hey. Now, only if we could come together and convince Mike to stop being a PC piece of shit. And by PC, I mean computer, not the other PC. It's okay to be the other PC. It's not okay.
It's not okay to be video game.
It's because we play on console. Fuck, this entire bit just went down the drain. Okay, hold on.
Note the timestamp. Edit
Yeah,
around.
we're just gonna mute this
116.
entire part. But yeah, thank you, everyone who's listening. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We're just two dudes who like talking Magic, and so it's cool that people enjoy listening to us. It's
I tell you all the time. I'm like, I don't know why people want to listen to you. Sure, you play enough that you're knowledgeable. I'm like, I don't know why people want to listen to me talk about Magic, but for some reason they're here, so I'll keep doing it.
Hell yeah!
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. I hope everyone has a happy and healthy holiday season here, because I believe this is the last one. I don't think we're recording again until January, unless I don't know. You're giving me those looks like we have a podcast next week.
I mean, we do release on the first Monday of January, so I think we have to figure out something. But we have like 2 weeks before then, so we're fine. Perfect. January 4th, I am participating in a charity stream to benefit one of the members of the community, Mr. Fitzy Fitz. He's laid off, and he needs a little bit of help getting through the new year. So I am participating in that. I'm playing a new format called Pendragon, which we will probably be covering at some point in 2025. So
okay.
I'm excited to talk about that. I'll give you some details about that, Les.
Yeah, let me know.
I think you had not got into the Discord yet when we started talking about that. So
yeah, I was very confused of what people were. And then someone's like, oh, here's the basic guideline. It was like a 3-page PDF. I was like, all right, looks like I won't be playing that.
I don't know how to read. What's wrong with you?
It's too much. I had questions.
Oh my God. All right. But yeah, find the YouTube videos, join the Discord. Links will be down in the description below. Thank y'all so much for listening. And until next time, this year
has been reviewed.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I feel like that was kind of a lame outro. Should we do something better?
Can we do something better? How easy can you edit it?
Until next time, this year in Brews
has been a year reviewed.
Let's go.
Nailed it.
Hell yeah.
Nailed it. All right. Bye.